Hi guys, this is Elisa with Fusion DIY. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I take items that I find in a thrift store, flea markets, and in yard sales, and I will take them home and I will repaint them, I will repurpose them, and then what I'll do is resell them in my booth located in the Pickers Junction, 141 East Broad Street in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. In today's video, I have two projects, plus I want to show you how to make a decoupage medium, so let's get started. Project 1 is these two boards that have mason jars that hang from them, and I picked them up yesterday at a town-wide yard sale in a town just a little bit north of me. I really didn't want to do too much to these, but I did want to give them a little bit more of a shabby chic look. So I took a chip brush and I took some country chic paint in the color Simplicity, and I dry brushed the paint onto each of the boards. And you can see that I got some of the paint on the jute that hangs the boards, so a little bit later then you'll see me remove the jute altogether. Once I was satisfied with the amount of paint that I had on the board, I came back and I took a towel with a little bit of water on it and I wiped back some of that paint to give it more of a weathered, shabby chic look. And then I cleaned up where I painted on the hooks, and the first one was finished. I did basically the same thing to the second one. I used a dry brush and I was able to put down the amount of paint that I was satisfied with, and then the same thing after I was done with that. I took a towel and a little bit of water and I removed some of the paint while it was still wet. Now it made it very easy to do it at that point. If I was going to wait until the board was dry, I would probably use either a towel with some dish detergent or a wet wipe, just to wipe back some of that paint off of the board. The time that it took on this project was literally about 5 minutes. And so I didn't speed up this video at all, just so that you could see how quickly you can transform something from one piece to another. And here is the finished project, and I hope that you like how these turned out. I have them now in my booth. I put them in my booth today, and I don't think they're going to be sticking around for any length of time. They really are nice, especially for the summertime. So it's never too soon to start planning for Christmas, right? And that's what I'm doing here. I picked up this saw, this hand saw, I believe I picked it up at the Habitat Restore, and I only paid a couple of dollars for it, but I loved how the blade had a little bit of rust on it, and I love the wheat pattern in the handle. I think that's just so pretty. So the first thing I did was I took some awesome cleaner and I cleaned off a lot of the dirt from the handle, and I also cleaned the blade because I'm going to be painting on the blade, and I knew that if there was any dirt on the blade, paint's not going to stick to dirt, so I wanted to make sure that I got it clean. So I have this stencil that I picked up a couple of years ago from Essential Stencil, and I just love this stencil. I have used it so many times, and every time I stencil with it, that project sells. So what I'm doing here is just trying to figure out the alignment of the word Christmas trees, and I just wanted to make sure that it was centered on the blade and that it was at the right angle so that I could stencil a couple of things underneath it, and you'll see that in just a moment. Now, one thing to remember when you're stenciling, less is more. So the less paint that you have on whatever it is that you're using to stencil with is better. And you can see that I did wipe back some of the paint that was on my sponge. And I'm going to go now and I'm actually going to just stencil the words Christmas trees. And you can see that it turned out great, just perfect, the way that I wanted it to look. Now, whenever I stencil something, I always clean my stencil as soon as I finish using it. And that's why my stencils have lasted so long, and I have them for a good long while. These are your tools, and you need to take care of your tools. While I was cleaning my stencil, I was waiting for the paint on the Christmas trees to dry, and now I'm just trying to see how I'm going to fit the next piece of the stencil that I'm going to add. So this is an entirely different stencil, and there's no rule against mixing and matching your pieces of your stencil. So here I'm taking the words 2 miles with an arrow, and I'm putting that right under the words Christmas trees. And here again, I've wiped back some of the paint off of my sponge, and I'm going to stencil the arrow and the words 2 miles. Now that that's done, I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to dry the paint, because I want to fit the words pine, spruce, and fir down underneath the 2 miles. Now I'm trying to fit it so that it doesn't look so bunchy and it's evenly spaced, but yet I also need to make sure that because of the curve of the word Christmas trees, it's in the right spot, basically. So that took a little bit of time, and if you saw, what I did was I grabbed some paint that was on my piece of cardboard there that was using to wipe back the paint, and again with a dry sponge I'm going to go over the words pine, spruce, and fir. Now I have some ribbon that I'm going to use to tie to the handle, and this ribbon is really kind of neat because it's got a string running through the center of it, and all you have to do is pull the string and you have an instant bow, which is good for me because I can't make bows in any way, shape, or form, which is why I bought myself a bow maker this year, and that's going to come in very handy. But look at how simple that is. And I think you probably could do that with a piece of thread. If you just want to take a needle and thread and run a needle and thread through a very long piece of ribbon or ribbon, you could probably do the same thing. And now I'm tying the bow onto the handle. And then once the bow is on, I gave the blade 2 coats of Rust-Oleum 2X polyurethane, and I let it dry thoroughly in between coats so that the paint would not smear. And there is the finished project. I just love how this turned out, and I think it's going to be a great seller for Christmas time. I did have success with one of these last year at Christmas, so I'm very optimistic that this one will sell as well. One of the things that I wanted to show you is how to make your own decoupage medium. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking I have a very big gallon jug of regular Elmer's glue, wood glue, and I'm pouring it about 2/3 of the way into a jar. And there's really no special magic to this, and you can save yourself an awful lot of money if you make your own decoupage medium. So this is just something to bear in mind. To the 2/3 of decoupage medium, or to the 2/3 of glue, I used 1/3 of water, and I'm going to mix it, and then once I've mixed it just enough, I'm going to put the lid on the jar, and I am going to give it a good shake. And I shook this for a couple of minutes, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes, rapidly, and you can feel when the glue starts to move around and it starts to mix with the water. And there you have it, your own decoupage medium. Now, the key thing is to make sure that whenever you are not using this, that you keep it in a very tight container, airtight container, with the lid fastened firmly. And finally, I just want to show you some new things that I've added to my booth over the last couple of weeks. Like I said, yesterday I was at a town-wide yard sale and I found some great items. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and let me know what project was your favorite. Once again, thanks for joining me today. I hope that you guys have an awesome week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.